The Vikings lose a tough one. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Lago Vista Football Show, right here on S2S Sport, part of L4 Media. The show being brought to you by the Lago Vista Boosters, as the Vikings fall to Cameron Yo in a tough one, in a game that, it was a one-possession game going into that fourth quarter, and then a couple mistakes, a fumble, a scoop and score, and the game got out of hand as Cameron Yo scores 21 points in that fourth quarter, 14 also in that third quarter as they outlast the Vikings 45-21. But honestly, there's a lot of good things for the Vikings. You look at that run game as the Vikings get 266 yards on the ground. Dominic Garcia had 17 carries, 107 yards. He also threw the ball pretty well for the times that he threw. They weren't throwing the ball all over the place. That is the difference from this year to last year. Not that last year they threw it all over the place, but you did have a quarterback with two wide receivers with a ton of experience, and now we're starting that over. That's the joy of high school football, though. That's the one thing I love about this sport at the high school and college level is every 4 years you start over and you kind of redo everything. And in today's football, it's a lot different because coaches aren't as married to what they do. They adjust more now with the players that they have coming in, which I think makes for better football. And after the end of the game, this is a tough one, but I still feel that there's a lot of positives. That defense, for the most part, gave Cameron Yo fits, holding them to 10 points in that first half. And you're talking about a Yo offense with, Kadarius Bradley, who's just an absolute beast. Braylon Drake, who is very underrated at quarterback. This Yo team is going to be really, really good this year. And Lago Vista basically continues that tough schedule, as this week they're going to be playing Little Rivers Academy, who had a big win over Rogers 48-20 in their big rivalry game. And as always, we're going to be talking to the head coach of the Vikings, Coach Creighton Phillips, about the tough loss to begin the year and also his thoughts on week 2. Also, we'll check in on the JV and the junior high, who had a very good week this week. And all things considered, hey, better than last year's. That last year game, that was kind of a shocking result. Luckily, that didn't, create a pattern. The Lago Vista defense was able to bounce back pretty quickly in that next game, and I think you'll see that this week as well. Remember, young team, and you just can't overstate that, especially when you look at what the Vikings have had coming back the last couple of years. This team is going to learn on the fly, and yeah, they got a ton of snaps over the last couple of years in the playoffs, but now the burden of the team rests on these new starters, and I think a really good step forward even in the loss. Want to remind everybody that the Viking Sports Network is now powered by Huddle TV. Now, here are a few important changes that you need to be aware of. You will need to create an account at fan.huddle.com, https://fan.huddle.com. All you got to do is search for Lago Vista Vikings. Now, there will be a fee. $8 for a single broadcast, $15 for a monthly, or $75 for a yearly subscription. But here's the deal about that. If you do that monthly or that yearly, you'll also get all of the other Viking sports broadcasts like volleyball, basketball, football, baseball, softball. So you get all those games that are being streamed. So if you can, I would seriously think about the 15. And honestly, I would do the 75 and be done with it. And then you've got Lago Vista football and all the other sports. So check that out. You can also email Eric Holt at eholt@lagovistaisd.net. And he'll also be coming on some of our regional stuff here this year as we talk Lago Vista as far as the Region 4 stuff. So we're looking for that here on our website, s2ssport.com. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, it's the head coach of the Vikings, Coach Creighton Phillips, right here on the Lago Vista Football Show on S2S Sports, part of L4 Media. Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. Terry Bennett back here on the Lago Vista Football Show. Now joined by the head coach of the Vikings, Coach Creighton Phillips. And Coach, first game in the books, a tough loss against Cameron Yo, but y'all did a lot of great things. What were your thoughts?
I thought there was a lot of a lot of good, a lot of positive to pull from the game. You know, the final score was part of the second half kind of getting out of hand. We got gassed a little bit. Some of our two-way guys lost a step. We've had some injuries through the scrimmages, and we're a little bit shorthanded. But I thought the kids played really hard. I thought they hit. I thought they tackled well. We struggled a little bit hanging on to the ball, which I think inevitably cost us in the end an opportunity to stay, score for score with them.
That first half, you get down 10-0, you score back-to-back to get up 14-10. Your rushing game was very impressive, 266 yards on 51 carries.
Yes, sir. That was, kind of by design. We feel like identity-wise, that's who we are this year. We've always run more than we've thrown, but we feel like with the offensive line continuing to improve, I think those are guys that we're leaning on. And as the run game gets together with the option game, quarterback Dominic being, his first year as the varsity starter, I thought he did a pretty good job making the right reads, getting the ball in the right guy's hands. And so I was pretty pleased with running the ball.
You were talking about the score, and I mean, this is a game that was basically a one-possession game going into that fourth quarter, and it kind of got away from me. And as you said, a little bit gassed. Is it also a little bit of that youth when you're getting in those big-time moments? They kind of just have to learn how to play through that? Right.
There's so much value in experience, right? So, if you get banged up a little bit or you get tired, rather than tapping yourself on top of the helmet, you get in there and you play the next play at max effort. I didn't feel like kids were taking plays off or anything like that, but they have to work to push through, and that's part of being on a team. Is we don't lean on any one kid. Everybody's got to do a job, and if one person's job breaks down, it costs us as a whole.
Defensively, you knew it was going to be tough. You're going up against a Cameron Yo team that has a lot back, especially Kadarius Bradley, and he had a good game. And again, I know the score sounds bad, but I felt that defensively y'all did a lot of good things.
Right. I think, we got them into third down situations, got them into fourth down situations, and then, they found the answer in that play. Quarterback, very shifty. I thought we did a pretty good job containing him for the most part. He made one Patrick Mahomes style play, dancing around, maybe more Johnny Manziel, just dancing around back there and buying time and finding a receiver to convert on a third and long. Kind of, would have given us opportunity to get the ball back at midfield there. So they are good. They're talented. And I think our kids, we got sophomores, juniors, and very little experience coming back. I thought they played fast. I thought they played well. I thought they tackled well, and I thought they handled the potent offense that Yo has pretty well.
You talked about the turnovers. When you have a week like this where you have more turnovers than you want, is there anything that you alter in your practice this week because of that, or is it just simply reminding them about protecting the football?
It's a focus thing. I think that was the main deal of the turnovers that we have. Some of it was footwork. We weren't quite in the right spot when the ball kind of surprised us. They had a strip return for a touchdown, which, that was our opportunity to go back and score and get back in the lead. We were moving the ball there pretty good, and it was about a 20-yard run when it happened. But, it's part of the game. You would like to eliminate that and remind them covered up in traffic. You put a bounty on fumbles in practice. If you're a JV kid on scout team and you cause a fumble, you get an ice cream. We'll do that kind of stuff sometimes to make those guys work a little bit harder to keep us focused on hanging on to the ball through the play.
All right, well, let's move on to week 2. It doesn't get any easier as you take on a much improved Little River Academy's team, not a team that wasn't even that bad last year. They get an opening win against Rogers, their big rival, 48-20. When you look at the Bumblebees, what do you see?
I see athleticism. These guys, they almost always have size and a sprinkling of athleticism. I think their skill guys have really improved. I mean, they just have them all over the field is the deal. There's not really a weak spot. Their receivers can run. They have good ball skills. The quarterback, I think he's on his 8th year starting for them. And so he throws the ball really well. Defensively, they don't play as big of a front. They play a lot of skill numbers in the defensive line, and so those guys they're hard to keep blocked. Those athletic dudes up there, so they spin and move and stunt, and they're fast when they get off a block and close the hole as fast as they can. So there'll be a challenge for sure.
Yeah, and you talk about how athletic they are, and this goes back to what we talked about when we first started doing this show last year. The schedule is laid out to get you ready for the Wimberleys and the Navarros of district.
Yeah, there's no free wins in our schedule. It's not my philosophy. It's not how we do it. I play quality people each and every week, and Academy is no exception to that rule. These guys are definitely, I think, a playoff team, maybe a contender for the championship in that district for what they have, and they always play us tough. It's always a great game, back and forth, regardless of how it ends up. So it's good to get us prepared for the Navarros and the Wimberleys and what Region 4 has to offer us.
You're talking about your schedule. I was just talking to a coach last week, and he just kind of had mentioned offhand that he was already getting his schedule set for next year. Is it really getting to be where you have to start that early now?
People have a tendency to get ahead of themselves a little bit, but also, if you want to reduce your travel, I mean, I've had some conversations about next year already myself. Just trying to reduce some longer trips and get the people that are close to you, people that that enrollment-wise won't be in your district, and so you start kind of at least starting that conversation knowing that it's a realignment year.
And how did the sub-varsities do in week 1?
We're very proud of them. They came out and the freshman team, I think 30-6, and the JV team won maybe 16-7, something like that. It was a little bit closer. I think it was 0-0 at half of the JV game, and then came back and got some scoring done in the second half. But they played really well, played fast. So we were proud of them. 2 wins.
Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español. So the Vikings fall to 0-1 this week, the game against Little Rivers Academy. Again, that game is on Huddle. If you have not signed up yet, please do. fan.huddle.com. All you got to do is search for Lago Vista Vikings. There is a fee for broadcast, $8 for one single game, $15 for the month, $75 for the yearly subscription. That yearly subscription will get you all of Lago Vista games on Huddle, as they're going to be broadcasting the volleyball, basketball, of course, football, baseball, and softball as well. This week, first home game. Little River Academy is really good. As Coach said, it feels like they've had a left-handed quarterback for years now. But Casey Miraz is really good. Last week, he threw for 4 touchdowns. But they also have a really good running game. I think last week they had like 180 yards against a Rogers team that's supposed to be pretty solid this year. And so this is going to be a tough matchup. The next few weeks, and he talked about it, you don't want to schedule easy games in non-district to prepare yourself for a 13-4A Division II district that's basically just like it was last year. When you look at it, Geronimo, Navarro, they're 1-0. Of course, Wimberley is 1-0. Gerald is 0-1, but they fell to Llano, a very good team, 28-13. They've got Giddings this week, and then of course next week Lago Vista has Giddings. So get a little calibration game early. See what the Cougars do against Giddings, and then we can kind of see what Lago Vista does against Giddings as well. It's always tough to start the year off with a loss, but remember they started the year off last year with a loss, and you ended up playing till the region final. And as we talked about last year, I think there's no reason why that you can't be playing for a region final again this year in this region. The tougher part of the region is still 13-4A Division II. Any questions, thoughts, or comments, you can send them to me, Terry, at s2ssport.com. If I feel like they fit the show, then I will read them. Either I'll answer it if it's something more general, or if it's for Coach Phillips specific, I'll get him to answer as well. Again, that's Terry at s2ssport.com. All right, game 1 in the books. Game 2, we'll talk about it next week, plus game 3 preview right here on the Lago Vista Football Show, brought to you by the Lago Vista Boosters on S2S Sports, part of L4 Media.